Hey everybody, I want to welcome you. This is our Ask Deb, and today we're going to be talking about what do you do when your fear gets so big that it freezes you. Now remember, I've talked to you before about the different responses to fear. We're going to cover that in just a minute, and then I'm going to give you some fabulous tools that you can use right now to get you past fear into action so that you are recruiting like a pro and selling like a superstar. I want to help you move into action and do what's required. You guys got it? All right. So before we get started, just let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Deb Erickson. I'm a business mindset coach, which just means this, that I help you deal with the mindset challenges that are going on inside of your head that are causing you to hold back or sabotage your own success or procrastinate or avoid doing the very things that you've been trained and you know you need to do to be successful. So that's where we're going. So let me just say hi as people are getting on. Sherry, Crystal, great to see you guys. Amanda, thank you guys for checking this out. Now today, as I'm talking to you, I'm going to have you, well, you can't take some notes, but I'm going to have you answer a couple questions in the chat today just to kind of keep me on target and make sure I'm giving you exactly what you need. You guys got it? All right, so let's rock and roll. You're a woman. You're in network marketing. You have to sell. You have to recruit. You have to meet strangers. You have to open conversations. You have to turn conversations. You have to ask questions. You have to find people's pain points so that you can uncover exactly what it is they need, right, in their business. Do they need your product? Do they need the business? Do they need a friend? What is it they need? And so what happens is that as you get ready to take that action, whatever that action is, you get ready to take that action, all of a sudden, bam, there's a trigger goes off in your head and you hold back. Right? There's a trigger that goes off in your head and you freeze up. There's a trigger that goes off in your head and you want to run and hide. If that's you, then the fight, flight, freeze response, when it's activating, you are responding in a typical female way. But let me just say this, it isn't a very helpful or successful business strategy. What I mean by that is simply this, as women, very few women in our society have the internal wiring, right? The connections that when they are faced with something that feels threatening to them, they lean in, they step forward, they challenge the fear anyway. And yet, that's what all of the strategies are known to man, is face the fear and do it anyway, right? Suck it up, cupcake, right? Just go after it. The problem is that's not helpful for the vast majority of women on the planet, because instead of just having butterflies, you may be that person that gets so knotted up and twisted up that you can't breathe and your mouth goes dry and your heart starts racing. You see spots. And in other words, the visceral reaction to this activity that you got to do if you want to be successful is throwing you into a fear trigger, and you can't move, you can't speak, you can't think about what you should be doing. And so instead, what happens to an awful lot of women is they avoid that moment completely, right? So that they don't put themselves in that position, which makes sense. Your brain is saying, don't do it, right? Don't recruit, don't talk to strangers, because you're going to put yourself in a position where if you take the next step, it's going to lead you to that physical experience, that neurologically triggered experience. You guys getting it? All right, so what we want to do today is I want to talk a little bit about, I've described the moment to you. I want to talk about what do you do? What do you do when you're frozen in fear or you're about ready to bolt? You'd really like to run and hide. What do we do in that moment, right? So first of all, let me just say this. You're not alone. Vast majority of women on the planet have flight, right? Or freeze as their mechanism in response to fear when you get triggered. That's the first problem. The second problem is women are wired to build relationships and that people's opinion of us matter, and that we want to fit in, and that we want to connect, and so we care what people think about us, and all of those things kind of work against us if your fear mechanism, that mechanism that sits at the base of your brain, gets triggered and causes you to pull back. So let me just say one more thing before I give you the solution. If you're a leader who is that energy where you just lean into it and go do it, right? And the way you handle life is you just take it on, you just challenge it, you just face the fear, you just move forward. Then you are probably really frustrated with the women on your team that can't quite do exactly what you're doing. I heard a woman from stage the other day say, all you got to do is have courage first. You just have the courage to take the action. And I thought, well, what a sweet thought. And what she doesn't understand, because she's not living inside of the experience of all of the other women, right? She's not living in the feeling. She doesn't know how debilitating fear can be. So I'm going to help you with this, okay? Number one, we want to change, first of all, the definition. Before we even begin that action, we'd love to change the definition of whatever the scary activity is. So let's just say that reaching out, opening up a conversation about the business scares you to death, right? And so part of that is because you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of what if I can't think of what I need to say? And, what if they say no? And what if? And so imagine this. Instead of calling it recruiting or sponsoring or enrolling or something that feels so business specific, what if you simply called it, I'm just going to share. I'm going to share my heart. I'm going to share my love of my products, my love of my company. I'm going to share the vision, the mission. I'm just going to share. Just notice how that feels. And if that's still too scary, then take a step back from that as well. And think of it this way. What if you are merely a great listener? What if that's your role in the world? All you do is ask questions and listen. That's not scary, right? That's open, it's more open. So what you're doing is you're redefining the thing that most people are terrified of. Is simply, I'm going to go out, I'm a great interviewer, I'm a great listener, I'm a great friend. Right? I know how to ask questions and listen. And then as people begin to talk about their pains, their frustrations, their wants, their needs, they're telling you that they want you to share more. You guys got it? They want you to share more. And so as you fall in love with the conversation, as you fall in love with problem solving, as you fall in love with figuring out what people's issues and problems are, you're less invested in the outcome of selling your product, but it's more about just taking great care of people. Notice if that creates an internal shift. And all we're doing with that internal shift is we are simply redefining what recruiting means. But I want to take it a step further. We can always redefine the things that we know terrify us and scare us. But let's say that you're that person that says, scared or not scared, I have to recruit, because if I'm not recruiting, my business is going to go under. I've got to do it. So you're putting pressure on yourself, right? Maybe you try to redefine it, maybe not, but now you're in the moment. Right here, right now, you are in the moment where you see that woman, at the next counter, and you say to yourself, she looks perfect. And you start telling the stories, man. Oh, she's going to be amazing. She'd be incredible. I got to go talk to her. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. And we start this internal dialogue. Just notice. And as you begin to be intentional that you're going to go approach this woman, pay attention to the feelings that come up. Now, the minute you feel a feeling that feels icky, okay? You don't even have to have words for it. If you just know, oh, this doesn't feel good, this is an icky feeling, in that moment, you know you have triggered your fear center. You guys, everything on the negative side of the emotional scale is triggering the fear center. So the minute you have an icky feeling, right then, right there, you got to stop. Okay, so imagine you have a little stop sign and you're holding it up in front of your face, and you can just take your hand, stick it in front of your face and go, stop. What we're doing is we're creating a pattern interrupt, and we're saying, I'm not going to allow my thoughts to run down this path. I'm not going to allow myself to stay in this icky feeling. I'm not going to allow myself to indulge in the what if stories that I'm starting to tell. I'm not going to play this game. Okay? I'm going to stop myself. Now, when you stop yourself, guys, what you've done is, from neuroscience perspective, it's called a pattern interrupt. We've interrupted the negative pattern, which is a great first step. You got to stop. Otherwise, remember, women think 85,000 thoughts a day. And of those 85,000 thoughts a day that we think, vast majority are repetitive thoughts. More than 80% of what we think are negative, are repetitive. And of the repetitive thoughts we think, guess what? 90+% of them are negative. So the average woman is thinking about 60,000 negative thoughts a day. And the worst part is that as you think these negative thoughts, guess what happens? You keep escalating the thoughts. So you have a thought like, uh-oh, I really want to go talk to her, but look she's driving a great car. She doesn't need the business. Oh, she's looking spectacular. She doesn't need my health product. She doesn't need my makeup. She's already got something going on. You guys get it? So then that is the beginning of heading down the path where we talk ourselves out and we start feeling hesitation. You know this, guys. When you make a decision you're going to do something, you see somebody, you're like, I'm going to go talk to her. You have a 3 to 5 second window to respond, to move, right? To get up and start walking towards her. 3 to 5 seconds. That's it. If you hesitate longer than that 3 to 5 second window, guess what happens? You wake up the fear center. The fear center goes, whoa, what's going on here? She's hesitating. She wants to do something, but she's holding back. There must be something wrong. And when you wake up the fear center, now you got all kinds of problems, don't you? Now you got to talk yourself out of it. So what we want to do is stop that negative trend, right? That's the first thing you got to do is stop it. Then I'm going to tell you the next skill set is to pivot. So imagine this, all right? Imagine that your negative chatter, your negative mind chatter, your negative emotion, all that energy is moving you down a left turn, right? What we want to do is stop the energy and then immediately pivot. We got to move in the opposite direction. So those negative thoughts, whatever they were, we got to turn and go the other way. You got to be ready, guys. You guys got it? You got to be ready with the positive energy, the positive thought, the positive what if. It's got to be right there and be ready so that you can grab it in a heartbeat, because the negative energy, the fear, the adrenaline rush, the energy that is moving in the negative direction is powerful. In fact, scientists tell us it's more powerful. The negative is much more powerful than the positive. Why? We're wired to pay attention to the negative. We're wired to be alert and to move back, avoid the negative, right? It's a survival mechanism. And so you have to be ready. You have to have it right there so that when you pivot, you immediately engage in language that moves you forward. Now, I teach people in my class, right, that you can use neurotools. Neurotools are simply brain training techniques. Here's a great one. Put your finger together and say, I can. Put your second finger together and say, I will. Now put the third one together and say, I am. Now play with the entire sentence. I will do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes to achieve my goals. I can. I absolutely can achieve this goal. I can talk to this woman. I can stand up and walk across the room. I will do whatever it takes. And I am enough. I'm more than enough. I've always been enough. No matter what anybody ever said to me, I'm enough. You guys feel it? And so what happens is when fear overtakes you, you have to be willing to stop it, right? Stop that negative and pivot and immediately replace it with something positive. I can, I will, I am, yes. 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 Say it with me, I can, I will, I am, yes. And as you do that, you stand up and you move. You guys got it? Here's it. Here's the thing, guys. If you move, confidence increases. Did you know that? Did you know that simply the act of standing up or taking one step in the direction of your goal, one step, immediately your confidence elevates and fear dissipates, right? And as you walk towards this woman that you would like to talk about, every single step brings more energy, more confidence, more passion, more centeredness, more clarity, more. You guys got it? So when you're frozen, you want to stop it, stop the negative chatter, stop what's going on, pivot, replace it with I can, I will, I am, yes. Do it as fast and as many times as you need to. And as you're doing, stand up and move yourself into action, guys, because motion creates energy. Energy is emotion, energy in motion. You guys got it? And so when you begin to move, you begin to find your balance, you find your voice, you get centered, you get grounded. And then remember where we started the conversation. If all you're going to do as you approach someone is become friends, all you're going to do is ask some questions, all you're going to do is engage, then here's something really important, right? You guys got to feel this, is that, guess what? The words come. When you really care about another person and you really want to just solve their problems, you come from your heart center and you just want to give them whatever they need to make their life better today. If that's truly what you're coming from, then you know what? You will be bold, you will be clear, you will be peaceful internally, because this is not about you pushing or selling or getting someone to do what you want them to do. This is about you showing up and being present. The key was to get past the fear and get into action. And then once you show up, you just be you. See, that's the beauty of network marketing, is that this is an opportunity for you to show up in the world and just be you. You guys got it? All right. So you understand now, don't you? Right? When you know that an activity triggers fear, first thing you're going to do is try to redefine it, right? Reframe it from the beginning so that you take the threat out. However, let's just be honest. When you get ready to move into action, whatever that action is, right? When you're picking up a phone to call someone, or you're getting on Facebook Live, or you're going to message someone, in that moment, bam, fear elevates. And in that moment, what you know is we're going to stop the energy, stop the talk, and we're going to pivot and replace whatever's going on up there with something positive and powerful and motivating and inspirational. I can, I will, I am, yes. And move yourself into action. Got it? You guys, freezing from fear is going to become a thing of the past. It's going to become something that, it'll show up and you'll be like, oh, wow, that used to stop me. Not anymore. Because you know exactly how to handle it. You don't have to be afraid of being afraid, because you have the tools, you have the neuro tools, you have the inspiration, you got what you need to arm yourself with everything that's required every single day to get out in the world and be who you were born to be and share these products, this company, this opportunity that you love so much. You guys got it? You can be in that space when you know how to be the master of fear. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. Do me a favor. What I'd like you to do is right here, right now, I want you to tell me, how confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10? How confident are you right now? And just notice, right, that if you're giving yourself a 7, 8, 9, 10, right here, right now, I just want you to see that what we did is we made a little tweak. You know, in what, 20, 25 minutes, we tweak the energy. I want you to know that, guys, you can move yourself into a 10 confidence. You can move yourself like that. And if you don't believe me, as soon as we get off here, I want you to stand and face the mirror and say, I can, I will, I am. Yes, I can, I will, I am. Yes. And do it for 2 minutes. And you will feel like $1,000,000 simply because you talk to yourself into a high level of confidence. That's how powerful your thoughts, your emotions, your intention is. All right, guys, glad to see you shifting. Glad to see you moving. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.